Our Lego. Okay, try to see the video. Okay. In this live, I will just like hang out here and look at the tutorial and try to make homes. I don't know how I feel hot today, so yeah. I will not share anything in X or something to say I'm live or something, because last time it not really do something, but I will do it from time to time. It's okay. I mean, we got 70 view, and later even after the live end, so no worries if there is no one watching. I'll be okay. I'll try to do things. I want to watch the building.
Need to do the stripe.
Okay.
Stripes. So I'm going to click on this face and then hold down the shift key, and I'm going to select every other face. So just like that. There we go. So we now have all those selected. So we're going to click on the white stripes and then click on the assign button. And there we have it. So if I press Alt H, that is going to unhide everything. And here are all the objects that we've created.
So Alt H is hide everything.
Have you ever wondered what happens if you could generate a full 30-second cinematic story from just one single text prompt? Most AI models tap out at 5.
All right, so the next thing we're going to be creating is the low poly building. So to create that, I'm going to press Shift A, and I'm going to add a cube. Let's tab into edit mode, and then I'll press S to scale, and I want to scale this up so it's pretty big, just like that. Then I'll press G to grab, and we're going to bring it up on the Z axis and put it right there on the grid. And then I'm also going to go right down here, and I'm going to click on the face select, and then I can just select this face, and I want to press X to delete it. I'm just going to delete the faces because I don't need that bottom face down there. Now I want to add a little lip, kind of like a foundation on the bottom of the house. So let's click right here on the vertex select, and then I'll hold down the Alt key and select this bottom ring of vertices. So I can now press E to extrude, and then I'll press S to scale, and I will just scale that foundation up a little bit, and then I'll press E to extrude. I'll bring it down on the Z axis and just bring that down a little. So that is good. Let's double tap the A key to select everything, and I'll press G to grab, and we're going to bring everything up on the Z axis. And then I'm going to click right back here to go to the face select, and I want to select this face, and I'll press G and Z, and we're going to make this building quite a bit higher. Now I want to give a little detail, kind of like this, kind of a little lip in the center there. So I'm going to press Control R, I'll add a loop cut, bring this loop cut up a little bit, then I'll press Control R, click to place that, and bring that up a little bit. So I now want to extrude these out. So I'm going to click right here to go to the face select. I'll hold down the Alt key and select this loop of faces, and then I can press E to extrude, and then press S to scale. We want to scale it out, but I don't want to scale it out on the Z axis because it's slowly going up as well as out. So I'll press Shift Z, and that will not include the Z axis. So I'll just bring it out and click to place that there. Let's navigate right up here, and I want to add another lip here on the top. So to do that, I'm going to select the top face, and I'll press E to extrude, and then right after that, I'll press S to scale. And we're going to scale that out a bit to about there. Then I can press E to extrude. We're going to bring it up on the Z axis, and we'll bring it up to about there. And then I want to press I, and that is going to inset that, and I'm going to bring that down. And then I can press E to extrude, and I want to extrude that down. And that way we're going to have kind of a little lip there on the top of the building. And then while we're up here, we might as well model some little things here on the top. So I'm going to be modeling some little metal boxes. So I'm going to press Shift D to duplicate this, and I will scale it down. And then I'm also going to scale it on the Y axis. So press S to scale and Y to bring it over on the Y axis. I'll press G to grab, and I'm just going to stick this kind of about there. And then I'll press E to extrude. We're going to extrude that down. And then I'm going to select this face right here, and I'll press Shift D to duplicate this, and I'm going to scale this down. we'll just make a second box that's a little bit smaller. So I'll press E to extrude, and we'll extrude that down. And then you can see the shading is a bit messed up. You can see these boxes look a little bit dark. So I'm just going to double tap the A key, and I can press Shift N, and there we go. Now the normals have been recalculated. And then I want to add one more box just kind of over here. So I'm going to select this face right here. I'll press Shift D to duplicate. We can just bring that over. I can also press S to scale, and we can scale it on the Y-axis. So we'll scale it out a bit. And I'm just going to bring it down. So bring it down on the Z-axis, and then I can press E to extrude, and we're going to extrude that
Hello.
down. And I think I will bring that down a little bit. And then again, I need to select everything because you can see the normals need to be recalculated because the shading is a bit weird. So I'll press Shift N, and that'll recalculate the normals. So on the front of the building right here, I want to add a door. So I'm going to press Control R. Let's add a loop cut here. So I'll click and drag and put that over there. That's going to be the side of the door. I'll press Control R again. Let's bring this over for the other side of the door. And I do also think that everything is probably a little bit too high. You could change it to whatever size you want. I'm just going to select everything with the A key in edit mode, and then I can press S to scale. We're going to scale that down on the Z axis and just make it a little bit smaller. And then I can press G and Z, and we're going to bring it down a little bit farther. So that is looking good. Let's press Control R now to add a loop cut and finish that door. So I'll add a loop cut right here. We're going to bring it up and put it right there. So right here, that is going to be our door. So let's press 3 or click right here to the face select. I'm going to select this face, and I want to extrude the face back. So I'll press E to extrude, and we're going to extrude that back and just bring it back like that. And then I want to create a door frame. So I will press 3 or click right up here to the face select. I'm going to select this face right here, and then I'll hold down the Shift key, and I'm going to select these other faces. So I can now press Shift D to duplicate, and then I'll press S to scale, and we're going to scale it up to make the door frame a bit thicker. And I want the thickness here to be the same as the thickness going back and forth. So I'm going to scale this on the X-axis. I'll press S to scale and X to scale it on the X-axis like that, and then I can scale it as well on the Y-axis to make it a bit thicker. So that's looking good. So I can now press E to extrude, and then S to scale, and we're going to scale that down. But then I'm going to press Shift Y, and that way it will not scale it on the Y-axis, just the X and the Z axis. So I'll scale it down, click there to place that, and then I need to press S to scale. We're going to scale it in on the X axis, and I'll bring it down a little bit. So that's looking good, and we now have that door frame right there. Now I do also need to navigate down here, and I'm going to select this face. We'll Shift select that face, and I'm going to press S to scale. We'll scale it on the Z axis, so hit Z. Then I can type in 0 and enter just to flatten that. So I'm now going to make a door handle. So I'll press Shift A, and to make the door handle, I'm going to use a cylinder. Now, once you add the cylinder, it's right there. Now on the cylinder settings, if you click right there behind me on the cylinder settings, I'm going to change the vertices to 8 so that it is very low poly, and then I can close that. So I can now press G to grab, S to scale, and G to grab, and we're just going to stick this right here where the door handle would be on the door, and I'll scale that down a little bit. Okay, so I'll press period on the numpad to zoom into this, and then I can press R to rotate. Let's rotate it on the X axis, and I'll type in 9, 0, and enter to rotate it by 90 degrees. And then you can just stick it into place, maybe scale it down a little bit. So I'm now going to select this face, and I'll press E to extrude and S to scale, and then E to extrude, bring that out a bit more, and then E to extrude and S to scale, and we're going to scale that down. So just a very simple low poly door handle. I think I'll scale the whole thing down a little bit. So I'm going to hover my mouse over the object and press L, and then I can press S to scale it and stick it in. And I can also scale it out a little bit. So we're now going to create some windows. So we're going to create some windows down here, and then on the second story, we're going to create a slightly different variation of the windows. So back in edit mode, I'm going to press Shift A, and I'm going to go right here and add a plane. I'll press G to grab, and I can also rotate this. So I'll rotate this on the X axis, and I'll type in 9, 0, and enter to rotate that over. I'll press G to grab, and I want to bring that over. I'll scale that down a little bit, and then I'll press S to scale. Let's scale it out on the X axis, and I'll scale it out to like that. So I can now press I, and I will inset that face, and I'm going to bring that down there and click to place that, and then I can press E to extrude, and we're going to extrude that window in a little bit. So I'm now going to click right here to go to the vertex select, and then holding down the Alt key, I can select that ring of outer vertices. So I can now press E to extrude, and then click with your mouse wheel to constrain it to the Y axis and bring it in, and then click to place that. So we've basically just created a little window with a window sill. Now let's tab back into object mode, and before I duplicate all the windows and move them around, I do want to create some materials. So I'll press Z, move my mouse up, let go to into the rendered view, and I'm going to click on new here to add a new material in the material slot. So this material, I can just call this building. And of course, you can use whatever color you want, but for the base color, I'm going to use kind of a tannish, sort of light yellowish color. So something like that, and then I will also bring the roughness up a bit so it's more rough. All right, so right back here in the material slots, I'm going to click on the plus here, and then I can click on new, and I'm going to make this the roughness up a bit. It's kind of a tannish, sort of light.
Zero, 8, 5. Seven, 2, 7. What? SVA. 7, 2, 7. 8, 1. let's not look like this.
Light yellowish color. So something like that. Whatever color you want. But for the base color, I'm going to use kind of a tannish, sort of light yellowish color. So something like that, and then I will also bring the roughness up a bit so it's more rough. All right, so right back here in the material slots, I'm going to click on the plus here, and then I can click on new, and I'm going to make this window sill. So I'm going to rename this to window sill, and I now want to tap. Edit mode, and I need to select some objects and then assign the windowsill to those faces. So I'm going to press L with my mouse hovered over this object, make sure the windowsill is selected, and you can click on assign, and that'll assign that. And then I just want to take the base color and make it a little bit darker. So it's going to be white, but just a little bit darker. Now we need to make another material for the window. So let's click here to the face select. I'm just going to select this face. And then again, right here in the material slot, I'm going to click on the plus here. Let's click on new, and I can just call this window. So let's scroll down here, and we're going to change the window material. So I'm going to turn the transmission all the way up to 1, and then let's scroll back up, and I need to select the window and click on assign, and that will assign the window to the window material. Now also down here, I'm going to turn the roughness down. So let's turn the roughness pretty far down, and I don't want to really be able to see through the windows. I just want this to be kind of some stylized glass, so it looks like glass, but you actually can't see through it. If you wanted to, of course, you could go in here and you could model some different things inside the house and then see through the window, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to take the base color and just make that a bit darker, so we now have some simple glass just like that. So let's.
I don't think this will work, to be honest, but it's okay. Okay, now I will try to do. Oh wait, no. What the fuck? Okay. Want to open some reference.
What's up everyone, in this video I'm going to show you a new groundbreaking way to edit 3D model.
Yeah, and we're going to scale it up to
just wait. I mean, extrude.
to make the door frame a bit thicker, and I want the thickness here to be the same as the thickness going back and forth. So I'm going to scale this on the door handle. I think I'll slightly different variation of the windows. So back in edit mode, I'm going to press Shift A, and I'm going to go right here and add a plane. I'll press G to grab. And I can also rotate this, so I'll rotate this on the x-axis, and I'll type in 9 and 0 and enter to rotate that over. I'll press G to grab, and I'm going to bring that over. I'll scale that down a little bit, and then I'll press S to scale. Let's scale it out on the x-axis, and I'll scale it out to like that. So I can now press I, and I will inset that face, and I'm going to bring that down there, and click to place that, and then I can press E to extrude, and we're going to extrude that window in a little bit. So I'm now going to click right here to go to the vertex select, and then holding down the Alt key, I can select that ring of outer vertices. So I can now press E to extrude, and then click with your mouse wheel to constrain it to the y-axis and bring it.
What the? Hello. What are you planning to make? Home. Houses, not home. I mean houses for. Should be houses. This is crazy. I mean, I can to assign this first, then go to face and assign this and assign this.
And then clicked up them around, the windowsill to those faces. Then I just want to take the just now also down here I'm going to turn the so it looks like but I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to take the base color and just make that a bit darker. So we now have some simple glass just like that. So let's do a few more materials. So I'm going to do the foundation material or the concrete. So I'm going to tab into edit mode. Let's navigate right over here. I'm going to hold down the Alt key, select that ring of faces, and then hold down the Shift and Alt key. We're going to select that ring of faces, and then also hold down the Shift key and select that one as well. And then we're going to do the same thing up here. So hold down the Shift Alt key and select that ring of faces, Shift Alt select that one, and also this one as well. And then also up here we're going to select that ring of faces, and that ring of faces, and that one as well. And then also in here we're going to do that one. And then I'm also just going to hold down the Shift key, and I will select these three faces right there. All right, so I'm going to click on the plus here. Let's click on new, and for this new material I'm going to call this foundation, or you could also just rename it to concrete or something like that. So I'm going to click on the assign button to assign that, and then on the base color I'm going to make this a gray color. So let's make it a nice gray color. I think that looks very nice. And then also let's turn the, and then on the base color I'm going to make this a gray color.
Okay, so let's try to do foundation. I'm trying to make buildings for the city, buildings around the railways. So yeah, 0, 0 and 0.0, something like this, right?
So let's make it a nice gray color. I think that looks very, I'm going to click on the assign button to assign that, and then on the base color I'm going to make this a gray color. So let's make it a nice
Okay, I also want to learn Gamedev. I think I have to go with Godot. Yeah, it's okay. Godot is very, very good engine, and it's very famous right now and have a lot of resources and tutorial. So yeah, I think it's good, good choice. No. So why not? Why the colors not look like?
gray color. I think that looks very nice. And then also let's turn the roughness. Let's go to the roughness, turn the roughness a bit up so it's a bit more rough, and then I think I'll turn the base color down just a little bit more. All right, so that's good. Let's tap in edit mode, and then I'll deselect everything. And then up here, I want to make these a similar material, but they're going to be a bit lighter. So I'm going to press L and L and L. So just hover your mouse over the objects and press L. So let's click on the plus here again, and then in the drop down, I can actually search for the foundation material, and we're going to add the foundation material into this slot again. But then I want to duplicate it, so it's a separate material. So I'm going to click on this button right here. That's going to duplicate it, and I can just call this boxes or whatever you want to call this. All right, so I'm now just going to click on the assign button, and it's going to assign the boxes material to those boxes up there. And then I just want to make that a little bit brighter. So on the base color, I'm going to make it a little bit brighter like that. And then also I'm going to click back on the foundation. So click on the foundation one, and I'll make it just a little bit darker so there's a bit more contrast. So I will do more materials later, but we can now duplicate those windows and just put all the windows around. So I'm going to tap in edit mode, and I'm just going to make sure everything is deselected. And then with your mouse hovered over the window, you can press L, and that'll select the entire window. And then I'll press 7 to go to top view, and I can also hold down the Z button and go over to wireframe. So I'll now press Shift D to duplicate that, bring it over here. I'm going to press R to rotate.
If I look at this, I think we need to do something here. I guess something like this. Mhm. Oh, oh my god. Let's select one by one. I mean, I don't know how to use the shortcut yet. So I mean, really.
And I can type in 90, and then I actually need to type in negative after I type in 90. You can see right up here the rotation says 90 because we are rotating it over by 90 degrees. But if I hit negative, now it's going to say negative 90, and then I'll hit enter. So now if I look right there, go into render mode, you can see that's looking correct. Let's also press G to grab. We're going to bring this over on the x-axis. We're just going to stick it pretty close right up there. So now I'm going to press Shift D to duplicate this. I'm going to bring it over on the y-axis just like that. And then I also want to make another window here and another window back here. So I'll press Shift D to duplicate it. We're going to bring it over, and then G to grab. We're going to bring it over on the y-axis, and then I can also press R to rotate. We're going to rotate this on the z-axis, and then I can type in 9 and 0, and then enter.
3, 2, 1, action!
And then again, I can press G to grab, and let's bring it back on.
god.
The y-axis and just stick it into the side there. Hit it again. We'll story shift. I'm gonna press L to select the entire thing, and I'll press S to scale. We're gonna scale that down, and then I can press G and Z and bring it up. All right, so I'm now gonna press Control R to add a loop cut. I'm gonna add a loop cut right up there, and then I can press Control R to add a loop cut, and we're gonna add another one up there. So I'm now gonna click right here to go to the face select, and I'm gonna select this face, and then hold down the Shift key and select this face. So I'll now press I to inset. We're gonna inset those faces because we're gonna be creating 2 windows. So bring it in like that, and also I don't want there to be too much of a space right there. So I'm actually just gonna click right here to go to the edge select, and then I can just select this edge, and I'll press G and Z, and we're gonna bring that down. Select this edge right here, and I can press G and Z, and we're going to bring that one up. All right, so click back over here on the face select, and I'm now just going to select this face, hold down the Shift key, and select this face. So I can press E to extrude. We're going to extrude that in, click the sign button. So now we have some cool windows there. So I now just want to do the same thing as these windows. So I'm going to duplicate the windows and just put, and then I can press 0, bring it over 9, and you select this window, and I'll select the link vertices. Let's click on the plus right here to add a new material in the slot. I'm going to click on new. We really are building up a lot of materials in this object. So on the material here, I'm just going to rename this to a frame or door frame, and then you can click on the assign button to assign that. Now on the base color, I'm going to make this a dark color and a brown color, maybe like that. Something that's good for a maybe say a dark wood frame. So like, and I can rename brown color as well. But this one is looking very good. So I just want to do the door handle now. So I'll tab in edit mode. I'll press A to deselect everything, and then I'm going to press L to select the link vertice. And I can just name this handle or door handle, whatever you want to call it. And then make sure you click on the assign button to assign the handle to the actual door handle. And then on the base color, I'm just going to make this a dark color, and then I'll also turn the
Okay. Hmm. Yeah, I'm happy about that. Oh, we missed something here, which is the chimney. Chimney. I mean, select this face. I mean, select it, add cube. Mini, I think something like this. No? Yeah. Okay, so let's bring this here, or no, put it here and duplicate that and come to here. Try to edit this, maybe. Hmm. So you have three type of maybe I think this is enough. We can just like make different colors. Like for example, just for example, like duplicate this, put it here. And so this one will be new, and just do something like this, right? For example, duplicate this, and go here and plus and make it something like this. Something like this. Duplicate that, put it here, rotate it. I mean, just like imagine how we can do. And just come here and just press this and okay, something like this. I know there is no one watching, but yeah, I mean, let's do alt and try to bring this here. Where is the thingy? Actually, I like it. I really like it. I mean, we can improve, but for now it's fine. I don't want to take too much to make the level look very perfect. I just want to make something and make the gameplay for HIO, so we can make the player like look at something good. So let's take picture, set it here. Today we didn't have like a lot of people that watching on us, just 17, but yeah, it's okay. The average view duration is 4, not very much, but still okay. So now what I want to see is the car. The car is something I want to look at it, but maybe later. Let's do this.
Mudah men, mula cari rumah bawah RM500,000. Cari rumah cara mudah.
Object. So the next object that I'm going to be creating is a garbage can. So I'll press Shift A and let's go right down here, and again we're going to add a circle. Now if you click on the add circle settings again right behind me, on the vertices here I'm going to set this to 12, and that way it'll have just a little bit more detail. So I'll tap into edit mode, and then I'm going to press F to fill a face there. Let's press 1 to go to the front view, and I can now extrude this trash can up. So I'll press E to extrude, we're going to extrude this up, and then I can press S and we're going to scale that out. And then I'll press E to extrude and then S to scale.
I'm talking to Safe when like my partner, the designer for Deadzone Rift and Northern Tower Defense. I made like shader in Unity that's make the screen look pixel, but this is just like Blender, so I will test that later in Unity. Now we have some things here. We have the roads, we have the base, we have something about the roads too. I mean, I need to, I think, scale this. Some signs like the stop sign, the park sign, the cone, the parking slot. I will do the car later, and the cables, electric cables. We have homes, we have like rails, we have some trails, we have houses, we have the platform for the train station. I need to do more things for sure, because the level will be a little bit big, but it's okay.
We're going to scale that down a bit. You can also go into the wireframe view if you need to see that a little bit better, and it is a bit hard to see. So what I'm going to do is go to the vertex select, and now you can see those vertices. So I'll bring that down a little bit, not too far, and then I can press E to extrude and S to scale, and then I'll press E to extrude and S to scale, and we will scale that back out. So we're basically just creating a little indent in there that's going around the trash can, and then I can press E to extrude again and S to scale that out. See how that's looking? So that's pretty good. So I want to make the trash can hollow inside, so I'll press I, that will inset that face, and I'll bring that face down, and then again let's press 1 on the numpad to go to front view, and I can press Z, move over to wireframe and let go, so we're in the wireframe view. So I'll press E to extrude, we're going to extrude this way down, and bring it down to about there, and then I can scale it down with S, and I'll scale that down to about there. So I want the thickness to generally be the same all around those edges. So the thickness there and right over there. All right, let's go back into solid view, and that is looking very good. Okay, now I want to add some details all around here. So what I'm going to do is go to the face select, and then holding down the Alt key, I can select that ring of faces. So I'm going to press the I key, and that will inset the faces, but then I want to hit the I key again. And that way it's going to inset the faces, but all the faces are going to be individual. And then I can just scale these down to something that I like, and they're all going to be scaled individually. And then once you like that, just click to place that. So I can now press E to extrude, and then right after that, I'll press S to scale. And you can see that it's scaling it up as well as out, and I don't want to do that, so I'm going to press Shift Z. And that way it will not scale it up, but it'll just scale it out. And I actually want to bring it in, so I'll bring all of them in a little bit, click to place that. All right, back in object mode, you can see we have some nice details there on the trash can. So we're now going to be creating the top of the trash can, or the lid of the trash can. So let's go back into edit mode, and I'm going to hold down the Alt key. We're going to select that ring of faces. Let's press Shift D to duplicate. We're going to bring it up on the Z axis just a little, and then I can press S, and we're going to scale that up a little bit. And that way the trash can lid will be slightly bigger than the trash can. So I can press E to extrude. We are going to extrude that up. So I'm now going to hold down the Alt key and just select that ring of faces, and I can press X to delete, and we just want to delete the faces. And then let's also go right here to the vertex select. I'm going to hold down the Alt key, and I'm just going to select that ring of faces there. So on the trash can, those bottom rings of faces, and I can press F, and that will fill a face. So I can now hold down the Alt key and select the top inner ring of faces there on the trash can, and I'll press S to scale, and let's scale that way down. And then I can press G, we'll grab that, and I'm going to bring it up on the Z axis. And then once you brought that up, you can just press F, and that will fill a face there. And then also, I think that lid is a little bit thick, so I'm going to hold down the Alt key and select that ring of vertices, and then let's hold down the Shift and Alt key and select that ring of vertices. So to make it thinner, I can just press G to grab. We're going to bring it down on the Z axis and just bring it down there so it's a bit more thin. All right, so let's create a handle. So we're going to create a handle on the top of the lid, and then also we'll create two handles on the sides of the trash can. So in edit mode, I'm going to press Shift A, and we're going to add a cube. I can press G to grab. We're going to bring this up on the Z axis, bring it up, and then I can press S, and we're going to scale that down, and then I can bring it down on the Z axis. Then I can scale it. So we're going to scale it, and I'll scale it on the X axis and bring it down a bit, and then I can also scale it up on the Y axis so it's a bit longer. Now what I'm going to do is go right over here to the face select, and
So let's try to make this one. Add to a circle, right? It's 10, circle 10.
object. So the next object that I'm going to be creating is a garbage can. So I'll press Shift A, and let's go right down here, and again we're going to add a circle. Now if you click on the add circle settings again right behind me, on the vertices here I'm going to set this to 12, and that way it'll have just
So 12. Circle, it will be 12. Okay. I think he did fill it first, right?
a little bit more detail. So I'll tap into edit mode, and then I'm going to press F to fill a face there. Let's press
Then extrude on Z, something like this, and scale it a little bit. Then I, then extrude on something like this, then extrude, scale.
1 to go. We're going to, if you need to see it, I'll back out. So we're basically just going to see how that's looking. So that's, again, let's press extrude. We're going to extrude so on. Very good. Okay, now I want to add some faces. The faces, and then once you let up as well as get in. So we're now going to be creating the top of the trash can, or the lid of the trash can. So let's go back into edit mode, and I'm going to hold down the Alt key. We're going to select that ring of faces. Let's press Shift D to duplicate. We're going to bring it up on the Z-axis just a little, and then I can press S, and we're going to scale that up a little bit. And that way the trash can lid will be, and just select that ring of faces, and I can press X to delete, and we just want to delete the faces. And then let's also go right here to the vertex select. I'm going to hold down the Alt key, and I'm just going to select that ring of faces there. So on the trash can, those bottom rings of faces, and I can press F, and that will fill a face. So I can now hold down the Alt key and select the top inner ring of faces there on the trash can, and I'll press S to scale, and let's scale that way down. And then I can press G, we'll grab that, and I'm going to bring it up on the Z-axis. And then once you brought that up, you can just press F, and that will fill a face there. And then also, I think that lid is a little bit thick, so I'm going to hold down the Alt key and select that ring of vertices, and then let's hold down the Shift and Alt key and select that ring of vertices. So to make it thinner, I can just press G to grab. We're going to bring it down on the Z-axis and just bring it down there so it's a bit more thin. All right, so let's create a handle. So we're going to create a handle on the top of the lid, and then also we'll create 2 handles on the sides of the trash can. So in edit mode, I'm going to press Shift A, and we're going to add a cube. I can press G to grab. We're going to bring this up on the Z-axis, bring it up, and then I can press S, and we're going to scale that down, and then I can bring it down on the Z-axis. Then I can scale it, so we're going to scale it, and I'll scale it on the X-axis and bring it down a bit, and then I can also scale it up onto the Y-axis so it's a bit longer. Now what I'm going to do is go right over here to the face select, and I'm just going to select this face. We'll go over here and then hold in the Shift key and select this face. So I can press I, and I will inset the faces, and I'm going to inset the faces down to about there, and then I can press X to delete, and we just want to delete those faces. And I just need to fill those 2 rings of vertices. So I'm going to go right here to the vertex select. I can hold down the Alt key and select that ring of vertices, and then hold down the Shift and Alt key and select that ring of vertices. And then I want to use the bridge edge loops. So to use the bridge edge loops, I can press Control E. Control E is going to bring up these modeling settings, and I can click on bridge edge loops, and that is going to fill that. Face select, and I'm just going to select this face. We'll go over here and then hold in the Shift key and select this face. So I can press up.
Hi bro, how are you? I'm good, thank you. How are you? Muhammad Mustafa. How long it take to learn Blender, brother? I don't know. I mean, it will take time, but you will be like okay to make something, like watch videos and make something, and you'll use to the shortcut and learn more. I used Blender 8 years ago, so I know how this work, so it's much easier to me. But for people that didn't know, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's doable. It's not like rocket science, to be honest.
And I will inset the faces, and I'm going to inset the faces down to about there, and then I can press X to delete, and we just want to delete those faces.
So the thing is, Shift E? No.
And I just need to fill those two rings of vertices. So I'm going to go right here to the vertex select.
Like, as you can see, I still don't know. There's shortcuts I don't know, so I still watch and learn.
I can hold down the Alt key and select that ring of vertices, and
The
then Shift
bevel.
and Alt key and select that ring of vertices, and then I want to use the bridge edge loops. So to use the bridge edge loops, I can press Control E. Control E is going to bring it.
Control E. So Control E, bridge edge loop. As you can see now, it's look good. Okay.
Bring up these modeling settings, and I can click on bridge edge loops, and that is going to fill that. Now I do just want to make this a little bit more detailed, so I'm going to press Control R, and I'm going to scroll my mouse without to add 2 loop cuts, and I can left click and then right click to put that in the center. And then I can press G to grab, and we're going to bring that up on the Z axis. And then let's bring the entire thing down. So with my mouse hovered over the object, I can press L, and that'll select the link vertices, and I can press G to grab, and we can just bring this down so that the handle is a little bit less big. All right, that's good. So let's now create a handle over here and a handle, bring it down. And then I want to rotate it, go to the side view and on, so the hand, make sure the 3D cursor on the median, press S to scale axis. So I'm going to hit Y. Now I want to scale it over, but I've done that. You can see that it's brought it exactly over by -1, so it's kind of mirrored that over. And then we need to recalculate.
Oops. Okay, I will duplicate this. Cursor, rotate. Okay, think we are good to go, right? Let's try to flip normals.
Calculate the normals because it flipped this object inside out. So to recalculate the normals, just press Shift N. That'll recalculate the normals. All right, back in object mode, there we go. We have a nice trash can. Let's do the material now. So I'm just going to select the trash can. We can click on new, and I can just rename this to trash can. And then I do want this to be like a metal trash can. So to make this look metallic, we can turn this metallic value right here all the way up to 1. Let's also go into rendered mode by just pressing Z, moving your mouse up, and then letting go to go into the rendered view. And then I do want to make the base color a bit darker, so it's a bit dark.
So trash can, metal, and just great. Oops. Yeah, but I think it's big. Like all these shortcuts, it's like make everything better and easier for you. I love programming more than arts. Actually, me too. For me, I just like always used to do programming. But now as I I think here. No. Yeah. As I like working full time, I need like something for art, so yeah. I think that's great. and we can just like put it around and it will make something different. That's good. We can make some trash later. Cool texture. Did you create by own? If you mean this one, I mean everything here is material. Just this one. Yeah, I made it myself, and I'm like really just download the picture and mark seam, like as you can see, like this red, I marked seam it and unwrap it and just make it. It's not perfect, but it's do something. Like if you want to make it perfect, you need to make bump map and something like that, and shadow, it will look perfect. But for me, my game, it will like be something like this, so it's far away. The camera will be far away from the model, so I don't need more details. And also I'm making pixel shader, so everything will be pixelated. So yeah, I think it's enough. And also for this one, I made it. As you can see, the car park sign, and also the stop sign, I make this also. So yeah, today I almost like was working for 2 hours. I made the homes, like some homes, like it's three type of homes. I can make more later, but I just like will change the colors, and I made this one. And I want to make the car, but I'm not sure, to be honest. Actually, I want to do the gas station, bus stop also. The road, I did it already. But yeah, today is like not feel very good related to my situation for the visa, so I tried to do something, and I'm glad I opened the YouTube stream and did these things. So there's 3 people watching right now. If anyone want to say something or ask question, and it will be very helpful if you click like on the live stream. I would appreciate it. And if you are not subscribed yet, you can click subscribe. I'm trying to live stream every day. Sometime maybe I will do like more than 2 hours or 2 times a day, but yeah, I will do what I can. Did you see what? And the copia and the copia pro art style similar. إذا تريد تحكي عربي قول احكي عربي عادي، يعني جاوبك بالعربي مو مشكلة. Let me search about this and copia. إذا تريد تحكي عربي احكي عربي عادي، مو شرط إنجليزي. Oh, it's a game. It's a game? Yeah, exactly. This I will show you. I want to do exactly the same like this. Let me show you something. Let me open the Unity. That's interesting. So as you can see here, so this is the normal, as I can see, and this is what I want to do. Like as you can see, there is now it's pixelated. As you can see, the soldier will be pixelated. Everything here will be pixelated. So wait. So yeah, this is the goal. So everything, I will make it here in the Blender. It will be something different. So as you can see, even the sign, this thing, the shadow, everything here, it's like pixelated. So this is the goal. But first, I'm trying to make some models. I want to make the models by myself. I can download models from the internet, but I want to make them myself, learn how to use Blender, and I want to make the game look in just one style, not different style, like I bring models from this pack, models from this pack, so it will be not ideal. So I'll try to make more models, simple models, then put it with the pixel style, and let's see what will happen. So yeah. Any other question? This game look interesting. And it's not cheap at all. So it's about story and what the heck. And the reviews is very positive. Like 98% positive. That's crazy. Interesting. Anyway, so yeah, let's try to make one more thing, because we still have 1 hour and a half. So what I will do is what try to do the car. The car will take a long time. So I'll do the bench.
Hey everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a 3D model using just one image. And the best part, you can use the model in any 3D software, including
The next thing. So the next asset that we're going to be creating
What?
is the bench. So I'm going to press Shift
What
A,
is
and
your
let's go down
game
here,
hook,
we're going to add a
bro?
cube. I'm going to tap.
This is something I can't tell what is the hook. The hook will be fighting. I mean, a lot of zombie, a lot of soldiers, a lot of bullets, and you can build and upgrade and update your base. Like for example, you will start with one commander, and after that we'll have more soldiers, we'll have walls, bunkers and towers around the walls to protect you from the zombies. So the game is about zombies like attacking this city, and you have base. You can control this soldiers and build defenses to survive the zombie waves. So this is the game.
Out into edit mode, and then let's press S to scale this cube way down. and then I'll press G to grab, and I'm just going to click with my mouse wheel to constrain it to the x-axis, put it over here, and then I'll press S to scale. We want to scale this out on the y-axis just like that. So we're creating the base of our bench, and then the bench is going to be right up here. So let's tap back into object mode, and I want to add a mirror modifier because the bench is going to be the same on both sides. So over here on the modifier properties, I can click on add modifier, and I want to add the mirror modifier. And because I moved this in edit mode, the origin point is in the very center there. So you can see now it's mirroring it from the origin point. So I'll just bring this out a little bit farther, and then I'm also going to scale it out on the y-axis a little bit more. And then I'll press G to grab. We're going to bring it up on the z-axis and just stick it right there so that it's just sitting on the grid. So I'm now going to click right here. If you can't select the face, then just click on the face select or press 3 on the top of your keyboard, and I'll press G and Z, and we're going to bring that down. So I'm now going to press E to extrude. We're going to bring it up like that, and then I can press S. We're going to scale this, and I want to scale it on the y-axis, and I'm going to make it much smaller, and we pretty much want this to be a square. Then I can press E to extrude. We're going to extrude this up. So this is basically going to be the legs for the bench. That is a little bit too high, so I will bring it back down a little bit. Then I'll press E to extrude again. We're going to bring this up, and I want this to be pretty much a square. And then I'm going to select this side. I'll press E to extrude. Let's extrude that out. Click on this face right here, and I'll press E to extrude, and we will extrude that out as well.
Like, sir, we have arc problem. No. Not like that. The game will be like Thronefall if you know it. Actually, if you want to try the beta, I can like send you the link. Just send me a message in Discord. I will send you a link here, like so you can try it. But I would like to wait. I would like to maybe make a new build because I fixed some things. So you will have like building to build, and every build will give you money every wave, and to use this money for upgrade the buildings or build more defenses or have more soldiers, something like that. But yeah, for sure I will not do like sir, we have arc problem because this is crazy and need a lot of optimization. But I will try to make a lot of zombies coming, so make the game more intense.
And then I want to make this metal piece going up as well. So I'm going to press Control R, click to add a loop cut and drag over, and I want this to be about a square. And then just make sure you're in the face select, and I'm just going to select this face. And then I'm also going to press 3 on the numpad to go to the side view. So I'm now going to press E to extrude. We want to extrude this up, and I want to make the back kind of rotating a little bit. So I'll press G to grab and R to rotate, and also scale it down just a little. Then I'll press E to extrude again. I'm going to press R to rotate and G to grab, just kind of move that like that. And then I'll press E to extrude again. I'll press R to rotate and G to grab, and then I'll press E to extrude and S to scale that up just like that. All right, that was looking good. These are also a little bit close to each other, so I'm going to double tap the A key to select everything. I'm going to press G to grab this, and I'll click with my mouse wheel and bring it over on the x-axis. So probably about that far. Now I want to add an armrest, and I want the armrest to be going down here and then go down and connect with this. So I'm going to press Control R. We're going to add another loop cut right here, and then right here this should be about a square. You can just eyeball that, and then press 3 on the top of your keyboard, and we can select this, and let's press 3 again to go to the side view. So I'm going to press E to extrude. Let's extrude that up, and then I can press E to extrude to fill it. I can press G and back. Let's press S the way over. I'm also going to add some loop cuts right here, so I'll press Control R, scroll my mouse wheel to there are 2, and I'm going to these and just move them around because we want this wood to look a little bit natural. That has been used to create. Well, so you can see now that it's looking much more completely courtesy. And I want to be able to see through the scale the whole thing down a little. Click and hold with that, and you can scale it. Go right here to the face select, and then I'll select. So there we go. That is looking pretty good. Now I do want to make it just a tiny bit more random again, so I'll press 1 on the top of my keyboard to go to the vertex select. And I'm just going to again select some of these vertices and just give them a bit of randomness, just so they're a little bit different and it looks more like natural wood. And I kind of like the look where this is.
Okay, now let's try myself. To origin, add box. Add mirror. Okay. Oops. What the heck? Okay.
It's going up and down just a little bit. I think it looks pretty nice. All right, so just like that, so the modeling is finished.
Okay, Okay, so it's not like that at all. Oops. Delete the face, and this also delete the face. Oops. Control E. Okay. Right. Actually, it's not like that. Oops. Oops. Pull a clipping, and here we go. Actually, he just like had some stuff here. Oops. No way. I think he had more. Actually, that's okay. I think it's cool, or no? Material bench. I want to see the color.
Finished. So I want to actually apply the mirror modifier. So I'm just going to make sure the mirror modifier is selected. And with your mouse hovered over the mirror modifier, you can press Control A and that will apply it. So now in edit mode, you can see this is all geometry. So I'm now just going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to select some of these vertices and just randomly move them around. And this way, it won't look like it's been mirrored over and it'll look even more natural because some of these look exactly the same. Like right here, you can see this looks exactly the same because it was using the mirror modifier. So I'm just going to give some randomness to these, just kind of move them around. You don't want to overdo it, but just a little bit will help. All right, so there we go. And that is the bench. So let's now add some basic materials. So I'm going to click right over here on the material properties and let's click on new. And I can just call this bench metal. I'm going to call this one bench metal. And then let's go to the surface right here. Let me make this a little bit bigger. So let's also press Z, move your mouse up, let go to go into the render view. Now on the base color for this bench, I want it to be a dark metal. So I'll make it even darker, pretty dark, and then I'll also turn the metallic value all the way up to 1, so it looks metal. And then let's also turn the roughness value down a little bit so it's a bit more shiny. And then I think I need to turn this up a little bit because it's just a little bit too dark. All right, so now we're going to create a couple different colors of wood, a few different shades of wood. So in the material slot on this object, we're going to click on the plus here. Let's click on new, and I can just call this bench wood light. So we're going to make it light wood, and then
Okay, so will be bench metal. Let's be metal. This one is so will be bench wood.
we'll make it dark wood. Let's actually click on the plus here and just make another one. So I'll click on new. And then for this second material, I'm going to rename it to bench wood dark.
So light and dark. This is not light. Okay. Looks good. Can have gaps between blanks. What do you mean? Where exactly?
So we have our light.
Woohoo!
Wood and or dark wood. So let's click on the light wood first. And on the base color, I'm just going to make this a brown color. So let's just go like that, make it a little bit darker. And then we need to assign this light wood to some of these faces. So I'm going to tap into edit mode and then click right here to the face selector. So I'm now going to hold down the shift key and I'm first going to select all of these faces right here, then the shift key. And you can also box select that if you want to select them all at the same time and use the box select to select all of those. All right, so that's when I'm going to have the light wood. And then also right here, I'm going to box select all of these. So that's going to be the light wood. And I'll also use the box select just to select these pieces right there. All right, so why I'm selecting all these pieces is because I want it to look like different pieces of wood that have been connected together. So sort of like planks of wood. So with that selected now, I'm going to click on the bench wood light and then just click on assign. That'll assign that. And then I think the base color should be a bit darker. And then also wood isn't really that shiny. So on the roughness, I'll just turn that up a little bit. Let's turn the base color down a little bit more. All right, so now I'm going to make a darker wood. So again, let's just box select some of these. I'm going to box select that. Let's go to the back here. Use the box select to select that as well. And right down here, I'll use the box select by pressing B. We're going to select that. Also, you can hold down the shift key and just select those faces. And also right down here, I'll select that as well. So now that all of those are selected, those planks of wood, I'm going to click on the bench wood dark. Click on assign. That's going to assign it. And then for this color, it's going to be pretty much the same color. It's kind of a brownish, but it's going to be a little bit darker. So it's just going to be a slightly darker shade of brown. And then also, just like the other wood, I do want to turn the roughness up a bit because I don't really want it to be shiny. All right, so that is good. So we just need to select the last bits of wood. So again, just hold down the shift key. And you can just select all those pieces of wood. So just the last few planks of wood there. So I'll box like this. Also hold down the shift key. We're just going to select all of those pieces and those ones there. All right, and then also down here we need to select those bottom vertices as well. So let's actually create another shade of wood. So I'm going to click on the plus here to add a new material. And then what we can do is we can actually click on this drop down here and we can just add the bench wood light. So this is the same material as this one up here. But I now want to duplicate the material, so it's a different material, but it uses the same information. So to do that, I can click on this little button here, and it looks like a little piece of paper. So I'm going to click on that, and that will duplicate the material. So I can now just change the name to bench wood med for medium, because we have a light one, and dark one, and a medium one. And then make sure this is still selected, and make sure the wood bench medium is selected. You can click on assign. All right, now if you go to object mode, it looks exactly the same. But if we just change the base color, we can just make it a little bit darker, and that's looking pretty good. And then all of this wood just looks a little bit bright, so I'm going to make everything a little bit darker. So I'll make that a bit darker. The wood dark, I'll make that a little bit darker. So you can just select the different materials and then change the base color. And there we have it. So there is the low poly bench. So let's just select this, and just like all the other objects, I'll press G to grab.
look good, right? Okay or not okay? Like bottom wood, not like single wood, like 5 inches blank between. I mean, it's okay, it's look good. I mean, to be honest, it's look good, but it's little bit. Let me apply the modifier for now, and scale it around the cursor. Yeah, we need to take care about the scales later, because as you can see now, it's not, wait, I mean, it's not the best, the scale. I need to scale around this guy, like look at it, and okay, now the bench and the guy is okay, but I don't know if this is okay with this, but I think it's okay. Later I will do like some scene and put everything and check the scale and try to find out better scale for everything. So yeah, that's good. So we made good stuff. This, the trash can, the houses. And now it's time to end the stream. I just want to say thank you everyone that joined me. Thank you Muhammad Mustafa, and thank you, I don't know who, what? Madra Fudud Burhan. Madara, maybe Madara or something. I'll say Madara. Thank you Madara to say something here. Thank you everyone to join stream. Thank you to support the channel, subscribe and like the live stream. I'll try my best to keep posting every week and try to live stream to show you how it's going on with my game that I'm working on 100% solo. The goal is to have a good demo by September, so maybe in 10-15 days. And because the mechanic is already done, I had some fixes, had some improvement, so I will work on the style now on the level and design the level and make the waves more intense and give it another test. And after that we will do one run about improvement, then I will make the demo. Maybe I will buy the Steam page and I will share that with you for sure. So thank you very much and see you maybe tomorrow. So until then, don't forget to go to check the channel and see you in the next one. Bye bye.